What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer, and today I'm going over the Rage of Raw set that I'm really excited for, but most of you probably won't be. So I just want to go over and do another video like I did with Rise of the Duels, like should you buy it? I'm going to try to do this for every set that comes out. Plus, I like to switch it up from just doing gameplay videos all the time. But yeah, for those of you waiting for my deck profiles, I will release them at some point next week. I want to play with them a little bit more, maybe get the ratios down. That way I can give you guys a little better of a card set than just doing my first kind of gut reaction. I'm not going to go over every single card just like last time, the ones that really interest me, and I'll let you guys know my opinions on them, and we can go from there. And I'll tell you guys what I know about the set so far. So obviously starting off with the Winged Dragon of Ra, I love this new art. It's really unfortunate. It seems short printed. Watch one case video and there's three of them in a case. So, and this is not the ghost rare, by the way. There is a ghost rare Raw for you guys that don't know, but it is the original artwork for the ghost rare. This is just like an ultra rare or something like that. But still, it looks absolutely amazing. This is one of the best alternative arts we've ever gotten for an Egyptian god. Probably the best one. It's unfortunate that we probably won't be getting new ones soon, because Slifer has two new ones. Maybe Obelisk is due for one. That Premium Gold, I think, was the last to be released. I know there's that white one, but I really don't like the design. Anyways, it would have been cool if this was much more accessible. And obviously, the Ghost Rare is going to be rare. That's just the nature of the game. So, Egyptian God Slime is another one that was short printed. I think there were also 3 in one case. I don't know if that's the ratio for all of them, but it seems like it's going to be pretty standard. Which is, I would hope to get at least one. I'm going to do one box opening and hope that I really hope that I get at least one of these. Either the slime or the new raw. Because, you can get different raws, but you can't get different slimes. Egyptian God slimes. Reactor slime is like the most common card. I still don't like it. What really annoys me is that, why can't this be if you control a monster special summon this card? I mean, it's restrictive enough, you can't normal special monsters for us to turn except divine beast monsters. So it's like, why can't you just let me summon Egyptian god? It's a waste of a normal summon. Anyways, Guardian Slime luckily is not a rare card. It looked like from the case I saw, which is cool. If you take any battle damage, or if you take any damage, or say any effect or battle, special summon it, it can switch into Egyptian god slime just like that, which is 3 tributes, which is really cool. Definitely a great card. I wish we need more cards that say you can add one spell or trap from your deck to hand that specifically lists the Winged Dragon of Ra in its deck. So I'm hoping we get Egyptian God support at some point, like general, not just Raw. That would be real. This card would be exponentially better. It's so close to being really good, and it is decent enough. But if we can get new cards, oh man, if like an archetype for the Egyptian gods, this card would be not broken, but just an absolute staple, great card. Ancient Chan obviously searches the Winged Dragon of Ra, which is pretty insane. Also helps you tribute summon in addition to your normal summon, which is always great. Blaze Cannon makes it ineffective. It's like the end card. If you already have the Winged Dragon of Ra and you can summon it without Ancient Chant, then it's just like, that's the game, which is cool. Millennium Revelation lets you add Monster Reborn. I think we need an Egyptian God Reborn. Actually, I might do a video soon with some custom cards that I think would be good for support, but it's really cool. I don't really understand why this card says you can special summon the Winged Dragon of Ra from your graveyard with Monster Reborn, because his effect doesn't go off. It's really weird, but it's not a great card. Sun God Unification also it stinks really bad. If you control a monster, you have to tribute it. It's weird. It's like you're going to use this effect, and I guess you get those life points back, but now your field is empty. It just doesn't seem to work that well. Here's the eroded Mercuria, the Destructor, which is cool. Honestly, my feeling on this, people say it's cool to like get all these old cards off the ban list. I'd rather their legacy be on the ban list, because who's going to honestly be using Mercuria, the Destroyer, in 2020? Like, nobody. So why not just keep that kind of old story, those nostalgia feelings when people see it on the ban list? That's just how I feel about it. Jira Ghetto, sure. During the battle step, you can special summon this card from your hand, gain 1,000 life points. It's okay. Terrible. Holding arms with this card's normal special summon, target one face up. I'm assuming a lot of these are like really old cards. This is like a nostalgia set, obviously. If this card is summoned, return all spell or traps on the field to the hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard and then target one spell or trap your opponent controls. That set target cannot be activated. That's actually a pretty decent card. Wow. I guess it is all set spells and traps, so it's not great. But still, that's a decent form of removal, to be honest with you. That's cool. Okay. Another copy of Monster Reborn, I guess, because why not? Left Arm Offering. The True Name is like really common in this set, which is unfortunate because it's not a hard to get card. And what annoys me the most is that, okay, I don't mind if Konami's not going to make new search cards for Slifer Novelist. If that's their prerogative and they like the True Name, that's cool. But give us a way to stack the deck other than Card Advance. I didn't even put Card Advance in the set. I thought it was a terrible decision. Meta Reflex Line is pretty cool. And here are the new Mechlord cards. I guess I'll try to go over these quickly and see if I don't know anything about Mechlords except that it's like anti-synchro, which is cool. But let's see. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand by banishing 3 Mechlord monsters with different names from your graveyard. Okay, I don't know how easy or hard that is. Once per turn, when this card declares an attack, you can look at your opponent's extra deck and equip 1 monster from it. And it's not just synchro too, which is cool. But if it is equipped with Synchro Monster, it can make 3 attacks. That's a good card. Like, being able to just take a monster from your opponent's extra deck can be pretty darn good. And unfortunately, you can't activate this, obviously, turn 1, which would really... Like, if you could pick a card out of your opponent's extra deck before they had a chance to go into their extra deck, that would be game-changing. But still, it's pretty cool. Especially if you can grab whatever you want from the extra deck, and this guy can get up to like 6,000 or even higher, depends on what's on there, so that's cool. Mechlord Emperor Wisel Synchro Absorption. Cannot be normal summoned or set. I guess all of them have that. Interesting. During your opponent's turn, you can send 1 face-up Mechlord monster you control to the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. That's pretty cool if your opponent has some sort of like removal card, like it's a way to not neg, which is interesting. And it'll help like miss timing, especially, I mean, yeah, if you couldn't activate an effect during your opponent's turn and they have like infinite impermanence or effect failure, it'd be a great way to get rid of that. Anyways, let's see what it does. This card is special summon. You can target 1 monster your opponent controls. It cannot attack for the rest of the turn. When a card or effect is activated that would destroy a card on the field, you can tribute this card and negate the activation. So interesting. It's a tuner. Or no, it's not a tuner. I don't think you can synchro summon this. Huh. I mean, that's okay. It's like a Stardust Dragon in the form of a monster that can special summon itself from the hand. I don't know if you'd play that necessarily, though. First time this card will be destroyed or battle, it is not. You can only use the following effects once per turn. If this card is normal special summon, you can add 1 Mechlord spell from your deck to your hand. If this card is destroyed by card effect, special 1 Mechlord Emperor monster from your hand or deck with a different attribute from the monster you control, ignoring its summoning conditions. That's really good. That's like a Magician's Rod for Mechlords. Decent enough. Maybe I'll try to do a video on Mechlords, depending. I don't know. During your main phase, this is Mechlord Army Deployer Obligado. During your main phase, you can activate this effect. Destroy this card, and if you do, special summon 2 Mechlord Army monsters from your deck in defense position. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except machine monsters, which I think is fine. If this card is sent to the graveyard and activate this effect during the end phase, you can inflict 100 damage to your opponent for each Mechlord monster you control. That's really bad, but that's this is a good normal summon, I would guess. And plus, this doesn't have to be normal summon, so I guess if you can just find a way to get on the field, that's like an extra extender for Mechlords, which is pretty cool. That's not bad. When this is Mechlord Assembly. When this card is activated, you can add 1 Mechlord monster from your deck to your hand. Okay, it's an Omni Searcher. That's only when it's activated. And then you can have this continuous effect. You can discard 1 card, then target 1 monster you control, destroy it. So these don't have I guess some of them have destruction effects, that's really cool. If a face-up Mechlord monster you control is destroyed by battle card effect, you can target 1 other face-up spell or trap on the field, destroy it. So this is a really good card, honestly. It's good removal, like your opponent, there's always a threat, and plus there's an effect when it's activated. much like a, dark magical circle for dark magicians. It feels like there's a lot of parallels between the two, honestly. You have the magician's rod, and now you kind of have a circle in a sense. Mechlord deflection. Target one Mechlord monster you control. Your opponent takes no battle damage from attacks involving that face-up monster to the end of the turn. Also, its attacks becomes permanently, interesting, the combined original attack of all Mechlord monsters you control until the end of the turn. And then it does have a decent effect. If a Mechlord monster you control would be destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. It's good that it's permanent, but I don't know. I mean, attack boost, I don't know how valuable that is in today. And plus, I don't take any battle damage. And you already have, I can't think of the name, limiter removal. And that's not. So if you can go to kill your opponent, I feel like you would just kill your opponent anyways. I don't know. Let's see. Mechlord Astro the Eradicator. This is a trap. Target 3 Mechlord monsters with different names from your graveyard. Add them to your hand or special summon them, ignoring their summoning conditions. Until the end of your next turn after this card is activated, you cannot special summon monsters except machine monsters. If you control a Mechlord Astro monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, destroy one synchro monster your opponent controls, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. It must be really easy to put Mechlords in the graveyard, but there's so many effects that are based off of that, which is really interesting. I'm not disliking any of these so far, to be honest with you. I think there's something there. Mechlord Emperor Wiesel. Must be special summoned by its own effect, cannot be special summoned by other ways. When a face-up monster you control is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. Other monsters you control cannot declare an attack. Once per turn, you can target one synchro monster your opponent controls. Equip that target to this card. This card gains attack equal to the attack. Attack equal to the combined attack of all monsters equipped to it. Once per turn during either player's turn, when an opponent activates a spell card. Interesting. This is just like an Omni. It doesn't have to be equipped. Once per turn during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a spell card, you can negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. I didn't like this card at first because it depends on your opponent's synchro summoning, and it might be a little common in today's game. This is like a side deck card for me, especially because you don't even know if your opponent's using spell cards. Even that's or if they are, they're usually not that important. So that's okay. These are all level 1s, by the way. Mechlord Wiesel, and a lot of them that I mentioned. This is Mechlord Emperor Grandel. This is level 1 as well. Cannot be normal summoner set. Must be special summoned by its own effect, and not other ways. When a face-up monster you control is destroyed by card effect, that's very specific, and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. This card gains attack and defense equal to half your life points. No, that's really garbage. That's terrible. Mechlord Emperor Skill. This is a wind level 1 monster. Cannot be all of these. Normal. Can't be normal summoner set. When a face-up monster you control is scored by card effect, again very specific. You can special summon from the hand. Other monsters you control cannot declare an attack. That's lame. Once per turn, you can target one synchro monster. Yeah. You can send one monster you control that is equipped to this card. This card can attack. That's terrible as well. So the last 2 cards have been terrible, unfortunately. But lots more left. This is Mechlord Astro Mech. I don't know. Whatever. Cannot be normal summoner set. Must be special summoned from your hand. Interesting. By sending 3 Mechlord monsters from your hand to the graveyard. So you just go -3. Interesting. Once per turn, you can target 3 synchro monsters, or you can target 1 synchro monster your opponent controls. Equip that target to this card. This card gains attack equal to the combined attack of all monsters equipped to it by this effect. Once per turn during the standby phase, you can send one of those equipped monsters you control to the graveyard and inflict damage. You can't even conduct your battle phase. That's really bad. First of all, you have to have 3 Mechlords in your hand, so almost a death sentence later in the game, unless you have the trap card, but okay, now you're depending on different cards being in your hand. I guess you can search it with the other one. Still, I'm not in love with that. That seems too conditional to me. Mechlord Astro Dragon Asterisk. Must be special summoned or sent, or cannot be normal summoned or sent. Must be special summoned by. It must be special summoned from the hand by controlling 3 or more like Mechlord monsters. So these two like directly oppose each other. When this card is special summoned, you can target any number of Mechlord cards you control. Send those targets to the graveyard, and if you do, this card gains attack. Every time a synchro monster special summon, inflict 1,000 damage. Again, not great at all. It's just not what you really want to see. This is Mechlord Army of the Wiesel. This is level 4 Dark. This card gains 100 attack for each Mechlord monster on the field. Once per turn, when another Mechlord monster you control declares an attack on a defense position. Okay, that's we can move on from that. Here's a field spell, Mechlord Fortress. Mechlord Emperor monsters you control cannot be targeted by the effects of synchro monsters. When this card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can have 1 Mechlord Emperor monster from your deck to your hand. Not great, not what I would use. Alright, here's Chaos Affinity. Change as many defense position monsters on the field as possible to face up attack. Special summon 1 Mechlord monster. That's bad. It started out so strong, and then the actual main beef of the monsters are terrible. Let's look at the new Jinzo support. I haven't read these either, so we can do this together, and I'll give you my opinion on it. This is Jinzo, the Machine Menace. It's a dark level 4 machine effect monster. 2,400 attack, 1,500 defense. If a monster is face up on the field or in either player's, if a trap is face up on the field or in either player's graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, it becomes level 6 until the end of this turn. So it's either graveyard, which is pretty good. During the main phase, quick effect, you contribute this card, special summon 1 Jinzo from your hand or graveyard. Then you can destroy all traps your opponent controls. If it is a set card, reveal it, which is cool. You get information if they're not destroyed anyways. That's fine because you can trigger it, especially turn 1, which I think is pretty cool. That's okay. I just hate that you have to special summon Jinzo from your hand or graveyard. I don't know how easy it is to get one to your hand right now. Oh, never mind. Psychic Boulder, level 4 light, machine effect. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 Jinzo or 1 spell or trap that specifically lists that card in its deck from your deck to your hand. When another monster you control is attacked by an opponent's monster, before damage calculation, you can destroy both the attacking monster and this card. That's really lame, but the searching effect is obviously the good part of all of this. This is Psychic Mega Cyber Dark level 6. If your opponent controls more spell or traps than you do, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon this card once per turn this way. When this card declares an attack on an opponent's effect monster while you control Jinzo, you contribute this card, place that opponent's monster face up in the spell or trap zone as a continuous trap. Interesting. That's a decent form of removal. It's non-targeting, non-destruction removal. And it doesn't... Yeah, I mean, it's level 6, so that's kind of sucky. This is a total brick going first. I guess you'd have to decide... This seems like a going second deck, interesting enough. So I guess that's what they're going for. This is Cyber Energy Shock. If you control Jinzo, target 1 card on the field, destroy it. This is a quick play spell. If it was a trap, you can apply one of these effects. Negate the effects of 1 face-up card on the field. All Jinzo monsters you control gain 800 attack. Again, it doesn't seem easy enough to special summon Jinzo just yet, so I'm not in love with this at all. This is Law of the Cosmos, a normal spell. Your opponent can set 1 trap directly from their hand or deck. Then, if they did, special summon 1 Jinzo from your deck. If they did not, add 1 Jinzo or 1 monster that specifically lists that card in its deck. So that's fantastic. Basically, they can gain advantage if they want, but it doesn't matter because Jinzo will be on the field and they can't activate it because it was set that turn. And if they don't have any traps, I guess it says can set, so maybe they probably wouldn't. It's either an Omni Searcher or Jinzo, which is cool. Plus, it gets it to your hand, so that's a really important card. I guess this kind of ties it all together. Interesting card. Definitely would be a 3 of. I guess that's one way to get to Jinzo. I need at least another way to do that. At least get it to your hand. You can send one monster you control that is owned by your opponent to the graveyard. Wow, is this real? That seems really good. Hold on, let me read this again. Cosmo Channeling to continue a spell. You could send one monster you control that is owned by your opponent to the graveyard. How are you triggering this? You can send one monster you control that is owned by your opponent to the graveyard. Special summon one machine monster from your hand or graveyard. When your opponent draws for their normal draw, normal draw in their draw phase while you control Jinzo, you can declare one card type, monster, spell, or trap. Your opponent reveals the card they drew, and if it is the declared card type, send the card to the graveyard, and if you do, draw one card. I don't like that. Nothing about that makes sense. If you control Jinzo, activate one of these effects. If you control all machine monsters you currently control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. This is a quick play spell. When a card or effect is activated at targets. Now that's a terrible card again. So many bricky cards if you don't have Jinzo. It's crazy. I mean, I guess that makes sense because it's like his deck, but still. Regular Jinzo. Jinzo Returner. This is level 3 Dark. This card can attack your opponent directly for 600. Wow, it's insane. When this card is sent to the graveyard, you special one Jinzo from your graveyard. It's so specific. Destroy it during the end phase too. I don't like that card. This is Jinzo Lord at Dark level 8. This card cannot be normal summon or set. This card cannot be special summon except by sending one face-up Jinzo you control to the graveyard. It's almost like a Red Eyes alternative. Trap cards cannot be activated, and the effects of all trap cards on the field are negated. So this is Jinzo. Once per turn, you can destroy all face-up trap cards and inflict through. This is a retrained Jinzo, and I don't really understand why you would want it. I'm not impressed by the Jinzo support at all. Jinzo Ejector. This card becomes Jinzo while it is on the field. Okay, it's another retrained Jinzo. You contribute this card, add one Jinzo monster from your deck to your hand except Jinzo Ejector. Then reveal all set cards in your opponent's spell or trap zones, and if there are traps among them, you can special summon Jinzo monsters from your hand up to the number of traps revealed. It just seems so specific. Like, how many people are playing trap cards? Like, I get that that's what Jinzo's archetype's going to be about, but it doesn't feel like there's enough general removal to kind of interest me in this. I don't know. Brain Control, I think this is obviously a Ratted, but here's Amplifier. It's an equip spell. You can equip this card to Jinzo. So luckily there's other targets that are called Jinzo. As long as this card is equipped, the effects of trap cards controlled by the equipped monster's controller are not negated by this effect. It's not good. Here's Mind Control. That's interesting. Psychic Shockwave. Activate when your opponent activates a trap card. Discard one spell or trap to special summon one level 6 Dark Machine monster from your deck. Which sucks. What sucks about this card, I mean, searching from the deck is cool, and obviously it sucks because it's a trap, but first of all, they have to activate a trap card. Then you have to discard a spell or trap. And this is it seems like a going second deck, so that's another crappy card in my opinion. Ra's Disciple, it's been reprinted twice now, which is cool. It was way too expensive before. I like that they're doing it once again. It'd be cool if this was like a secret rare or something like that. I don't think it's had that just yet. Anyways, another Mechlord card, Mechlord Army of the Skeel. I thought I just went over this. Huh, interesting. Anyways, they're both terrible. A lot of these Mechlord cards are just not very good. But Boon of the Mechlord Emperor. If there are only face-up monsters on the field, if the only face-up monsters on the field are 2 Mechlord, draw 2 card. Cannot connect to your battle phase. That's terrible. This is called Resolute Mechlord Army. Continuous spell. All attack position Mechlord Army monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, their effects are negated. Terrible. Reboots. Normal spell. Shuffle 1 Mechlord monster from your hand into the deck. Then target 1 Mechlord card in your graveyard. Add that target to your hand. Maybe maybe that would be important. I don't know. A wild monster appears. If your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, special summon from your hand 1 monster with an original level of 10 or lower that cannot be normal summon or set, ignoring its summoning conditions. It is unaffected by the card effects of your opponent's cards. Unaffected by effects of your cards accept its own effects and this card. Also shuffle it into the deck during your opponent's next end phase. For the rest of the turn, you cannot normal summon or set or special summon monsters, and your opponent takes no damage. Why are Mechlords so restrictive, man? Mountain of the Bound Creator, I guess that's cool, but again, we need a retrained Mountain of the Bound Creator at least that can be searched by Guardian Sign to make this enticing to me. Tokens Sunday. Destroy all tokens you control, then target cards on the field up to the number of tokens destroyed. Interesting. And Token Stampede. All tokens in attack position gain 1,000 attack. Also, they cannot be destroyed by battle. It's a continuous trap. Interesting. This is the Synchro Monster. White Aura Behemoth. 1 tuner Synchro Monster plus 1 non-tuner. So a lot of investment into this. During your turn, when this card is Synchro Summon, you can special summon 1 Divine Dragon token with 3,300 attack. Interesting. Wow. In defense position, once per opponent's turn, when you control no tokens, quick effect, you can special summon 1 Divine Dragon token. If this card you control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect sent to the graveyard, while you control a token, you can special summon this card in defense position. So it sticks. It's got 3,300 attack. I don't know why you'd ever summon that, but okay, cool. Overall, the set is just not very good. I'm buying it to chase the Ghost Rare, which is like they're geniuses for that, and they know what they're doing when it comes to this. But if you have no interest in chasing the Ghost Rare, there's nothing in this set, to be honest with you guys, at least in my opinion. I just went through literally each and every card. Some of the Mechlord cards were okay, but the actual like level 10, like the big monsters that are supposed to be on the field, are not great, and there's so many restrictions on the archetypes. One of the most restrictive archetypes I've ever seen in my life in terms of not being able to battle. It's like trying to set yourself up for the turn after, and that just seems too slow in today's game. The Jinzo support, I mean, I feel like Jinzo, I guess that's cool, but it's not too many people play traps, and there's not enough removal to be an interesting deck to play even casually, in my opinion. The Egyptian God stuff is pretty good, obviously. You guys seen I made tons of videos on that. And hopefully I can get that Ghost Rare. Although I would definitely settle for the Winged Dragon of Ra, the alternative art. I will be doing a box opening for this on the 25th, if not the 26th, if I can't get to it just then. So I'll see you guys during that. But yeah, just to reiterate, I would not buy this set unless you're chasing the Ghost Raw and you don't want to pay like $1,000 for it. It's just literally gambling. So take that for what you will. Other than that, guys, that's going to do it for today, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day.